I've been a homeowner for years, and I never thought I'd have to say these words. 3 people trespassed on my property and assaulted my wife. The reason they gave a fence hinge, they said it violated HOA perimeter standards. I said it was none of their business. But the only thing that got reinforced that day was the line they never should have crossed. Welcome to the channel. Before we dive into this crazy story, do me a favor and let me know in the comments where you're watching from today. I always love to see how far these stories travel. It all started on a quiet morning. I was on the porch, coffee in hand, watching my wife Leah at our ranch gate. She was dealing with 2 HOA enforcers. These guys were a sight to behold, wearing mirrored sunglasses and tactical polos that were at least 2 sizes too tight. They were carrying clipboards and acting like they owned the very dirt under their boots. Leah's voice was calm but firm. "You're not allowed to step onto our land without a warrant," she told them. The shorter one just tapped a cheap plastic badge on his chest. "We're authorized to enforce code compliance." Leah's patience was clearly wearing thin. "Over a fence hinge?" she snapped. "You're seriously threatening us over a hinge." And then, it happened. Without any warning, without another word, the tall enforcer took a sudden, violent swing. His fist cracked across Leah's cheek so hard, I heard the sound over the wind. She just crumpled and hit the gravel, hard. By the time I dropped my coffee mug and sprinted over, her lip was already bleeding, and her palm was scraped raw from trying to break her fall. "She got physical," the guy said, his voice completely flat, like he was reporting the weather. I responded with appropriate force. "Appropriate?" I echoed. My voice came from somewhere deep and guttural. Every fiber of my being wanted to lunge, to tear him apart, but my mind froze. It took me back to a memory from when I was 8 years old, watching my mother flinch under a similar shadow. I had frozen then, too, and now, despite all my training, for one split second, I felt that same paralyzing helplessness. Leah sat up slowly, wiping the blood from her lip. She looked right at me, and her gaze cut deeper than the punch she'd just taken. Her eyes asked the question her mouth couldn't. Then, as if on cue, Karen the HOA president pulled up in her pristine white SUV. She didn't offer help. She didn't offer an apology. She looked at Leah on the ground, then at me, and told us to check the latest newsletter if we wanted to file a complaint. "Had you addressed the prior fence violation? This could have all been avoided," she said with a smug smile before driving off, leaving a cloud of dust in her wake. That night, sleep was impossible. My mind was a racetrack of anger and regret. Around midnight, my neighbor Walt showed up at my door. Walt's a good guy, a bit of a prepper, and a serious amateur drone pilot. He'd seen the whole thing, and even better, he'd caught it all on his drone. But that wasn't all. He'd also managed to tap into the HOA's radio communications. He played the audio for me, and that's when my blood ran cold. "Used the wife," a voice muttered over the crackling static. "He'll snap. He always does." I knew that voice. It belonged to Ray Dobbs. Ray and I had served together in the military. I was the one who filed the report that ended his career. He'd killed a woman and a child during a mission because he refused to stand down when ordered. He wasn't working for the HOA to enforce some petty rule. He was here for revenge. This was never about offense. It was a trap, designed specifically for me, to make me snap, to make me the aggressor. In that moment, something shifted. I stopped being a victim and started being a strategist. I went to my workshop and dug out my old ranch schematics, the ones with elevation lines, drainage points, and natural choke points. I walked the entire fence line with Walt, setting up silent tripwires and what we called Frankencams, rigged together from old drone parts. We turned the whole property into a network of motion sensors and hidden speakers. All the while, Leah watched me from the house, her expression impossible to read, neutral and detached. "Are you planning to fight a war or survive one?" she asked me one evening. I looked her in the eye and said, "I'm planning to end one." The next time they came, it was a Wednesday afternoon. Predictable, Karen arrived with Ray and a new, younger enforcer in tow. They marched up the driveway like they were conducting a routine audit, clipboards at the ready. "Mark Ellis," Karen shouted, her voice echoing across the yard, "you are in violation of multiple codes." I didn't say a word. I just watched. I let them walk right into the perimeter. Ray's boot hit a hidden pressure plate near the gate. Suddenly, a storm of distorted static and ghosted military commands erupted from the hidden speakers we'd placed all around them. The sound was disorienting, chaotic. The younger guy started to panic, looking around wildly. Just then, a counterweighted net whipped up from the gate, catching Ray mid-step and slamming him face first into the gravel. Simultaneously, a bucket of our special cattle deterrent, potent mix of fish oil and hot sauce, mashed into the rookie's chest, drenching him. Flash cans went off, blinding them with brilliant white light and a deafening roar. I walked forward through the chaos, untouched. Ray was on the ground, his knee bent at an unnatural angle, desperately reaching for something in his tactical vest. I put my boot on his chest, grinding him into the dirt. "You crossed the line," I said, my voice low and steady. "You set a trap." I just built a boundary. Karen was trembling, her face a mask of shock and fury, her ego completely shattered. "This is illegal," she shrieked. "So was punching my wife." I replied calmly, "Now get off my land." They limped away, defeated, humiliated, and covered in fish oil. But the fight wasn't over, not by a long shot. They tried to flip the script. They released heavily edited footage to the local news, painting me as some kind of rancher, Rambo, attacking innocent HOA volunteers. Then, the lawsuit came. They sued me for $75,000. But they made one critical mistake. They forgot that I had the raw, unedited footage. I sent everything Walt's drone video. The radio comes. Everything to Leah's cousin, a high-powered civil rights attorney in the city. We didn't play their game and go to the media. We went to court. We filed a countersuit for unlawful trespass, defamation of character, and assault. When we finally got in front of the judge, he didn't even need to hear our defense. Our lawyer played 30 seconds of the raw footage. The judge watched the unprovoked punch, heard the cold commentary, and that was it. He signed a permanent injunction against the HOA. They were banned from sending enforcers or even fines to my property ever again. The fallout was immediate. Karen resigned from the HOA board and moved out of the neighborhood a week later. Ray Dobbs simply vanished. The HOA suddenly had a permanent staffing shortage. With the legal battle won, I reset the ranch. I took down the traps, the cameras, and the speakers. I went out to the front gate and hung the American flag back on the pole where it belonged. That night, Leah came and sat next to me on the porch swing. The silence between us was comfortable for the first time in weeks. "Do you ever miss who you were before all this?" she asked softly. I thought about it for a moment, watching the sunset paint the sky. "No," I said. "I think I finally became who I was supposed to be. I realized I didn't need revenge. I just needed order. I needed peace on my own land. And now, they don't fear me because I know how to fight. They fear me because I stopped fighting their way, and I still won." Thanks for watching this all the way through. It means a lot to share this story. If you want to see more stories of justice and people standing their ground, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more videos. We'll see you in the next one.